you too can become a hero. That's why
What is up, you guys? It's the Fallout What If here, and today I'm going to do the What If. What if he say, well, what if he was Daredevil Part 2? I believe it's 1 or 2. I know I did 1, so yeah, I guess it's 2. But if for you guys who didn't understand the last video, basically he's back from training, well, with a man named Shen, or it's a Shang, and he's learned that he potentially has this thing called Baylor View, and there's another person that has Baylor View, but a freaking, version of it that's not enhanced. Basically, what Casper has is a strong version of it, but it's not full capacity. Because think about it, would one of the Longinuses just have one user every time? I feel like there would be more than just one user. Because think about it, if one of the black dragons, known as Vigisil, or I forgot what his name, but the black dragon that Saji had, if there's only one of those, if there's like multiple pieces of it, then shouldn't that be the same thing? Oh, sorry about that. Shouldn't that be the same thing with freaking Baylor View? Some people have strong versions of it. He says it's going to be a good, strong one, because not only does he have the ability to basically stop time, he also has the ability to create inanimate objects, but it takes away afterwards. Basically, he can make a stick that would be so dense and durable that he really doesn't need a walking stick. The only reason why he has one is that he really just keeps that because, well, one, it's something that he's had for most of his childhood when he was blind, and second of all, it was also something that he kept with him to make sure that he remembers that he's to humble him because if Daredevil was just like arrogant, he wouldn't need that stick. He would just be like, I know exactly where I'm going to and all that. But no, he's still weak and he's still humbled by the fact that he needs to learn more about what he can do. Secondly, Issei has the ability to basically turn his body into anything. Like, in this one, I feel like it'll be smoke. If not smoke, he would turn into a bunch of rats or mice and just scatter. Because he's not a vampire, so Casper chose bats because it's more persuasive because he's still a dampier. But with Issei, think about it. He's lived in the house that's not been kept up for so long. There will be mice around them. And not only that, at the temple, there's usually rodents around there too. Because, well, first of all, he knows what they look like when he was a child, when he had his eyesight. And, no, did I make him blind? No, he got into an accident. He got into an accident still. So, yeah. Now, here's how it's gonna go. At first, Issei gets to school. Everybody notices that he's the blind kid, but he also gets special attention in sometimes, and special privileges, such as he's taken care of by freaking Monohamura and Matsuda, because he hasn't even talked to them for basically most it was Monohamura and freaking Matsuda. Those two have not talked since he probably 5 to 6, like a week after he went to the temple. After that, they haven't talked ever since. So when they find out who Issei is there, these two are going to be they're going to be his best friends from back then. Not only that, those two are perverted, but those two are also, well, they're also protective of Issei. They had his back back then, and in this one they're actually much more nicer, but they're still perverted like their usual selves. And not only that, they're actually going to be a part of Rios' group. Motohamura, I forgot which one is which, but the guy with glasses is going to have the ability of, well, not time, but he has a sacred gear that makes him perceive what people are going to do. Think of it as like the Sharingan and how he could sense people's movements. But the only thing that he has as well is the ability to create, what's it called? He's basically made out of iron. Yeah, his body is super tough. That's why he doesn't actually get hurt. Like, think about it. They've been beaten by the Kendo Club, and I've been hit by a bamboo sword. That does not freaking help. That is not like, it's to me, it doesn't hurt as much, but back then, oh, that would be, oh man, I would have freaking like jumped around and stuff if I got hit in the back with it. But because of Matsuda's ability to, you know, or the guy with glass, Matsuda basically has an iron body, like iron defense, and Motohamura, he's actually going to be, oh wait, Matsuda's the bald one, and Motohamura, okay, so Matsuda, Motohamura has the iron skin, and he has the ability to basically be 5 times to 10 times stronger. Every time he gets even stronger, he becomes like even better. So he's like primary defense and offense right there. Motohamura is much more different because he has the ability to use nature. And when I mean nature, I mean he uses wood. He is literally a body of wood. He is literally down, he's technically he's like a down-to-earth kind of person with like this just ego that's stuck there. So yeah, I think it kind of fits them since they get beaten, like they're really used to it. They would have something like a defense mechanism since they get hurt a lot and they're resistant to a lot of it. Now, besides all that, Issei is like protected by his friends, but most times they're not even there. Well, they're there, but when they're not there, Issei gets beaten and he gets punched. Which at times Issei has to just let it happen, because if they found out about his special abilities, they would think that he would be weird, or they wouldn't be friends with him. And he basically didn't want to do this because he thought if they were to find out about him, they would call him a freak, which they don't know, but they have powers too, but those two never told each other. So, during the whole incident with Yuna, Issei never tells her anything. He just he just like gets away from her. And what else? He's cried a couple of times, and not only that, he's broken ribs. To the point where you have to go to the nurse because sometimes Motohamura isn't there, but he does defend himself by just giving casual punches, and punches that were given like that he remembered when he learned boxing. His fighting style consists of judo, consists of street fighting, and also is karate, taekwondo, and possibly tai chi. So he has like an MMA kind of background in a way, since he's learned how to fight, but he's not strong, but he can take a hit. It's only when he uses his special abilities and he uses his powers to his abilities to the max. That's how he's really good at fighting. He's not strong, so that's what gives him like That's what kind of gives him a dull blade. If you guys understand what I'm trying to say. But anyway, after the whole thing with issei, he goes around and basically goes home, and well, he lives back in his apartment, and he starts to try to clean up everything. And when he starts, because he went to the temple, but he doesn't go there anymore. But he does don the suit, and not only that, he tries to keep his place clean as much as possible, and he actually doesn't throw away the rats, because they're actually clean, despite how many times they can be dirty, but they're actually clean. So he allows them to be there, and since he since he has peace within him, from time to time, he has the ability to not feel like what is it called? He has the ability to just be at peace, to where the rats don't freaking get scared of him. He's actually one with nature in a way. Animals don't fear him, and neither does he fear the animals. So he wears the red suit yet again, and gets, well, what's the word? He gets ready for battle, or get ready to take out a couple of people or creatures, because the last time somebody came, it was actually not a fallen demon. It was a stray devil, and this one had like a freaking, what is it called? He had like, he was much more bigger, and this is when Sheng and freaking other monks see this, and they start fighting it. And this creature is so strong and so durable that basically it takes a while until he gets down. But this is when Sheng, after seeing a lot of his brethren, a couple of them dead and most of them just injured, he just says, "I will stop you myself, beast." And the creature says, "What is a human going to do?" This is when the freaking Shen just flash steps and is so quiet, but yet so fast. He calls one of his moves, raindrop technique, and just freaking punctures him in the fucking heart. Sorry about that. Sorry if I cursed. I don't usually curse like that, but he stabs in the freaking heart. All right, he stabs, he punctures his heart, and the creature basically is weakened. And this is when Sheng grabs a freaking guitar, or not a guitar, but a saber, and just cuts off the freaking head. And this is when issei saw, not see, but he knew what he saw in his head. And this is when Sheng says that there's no good reason to kill people or creatures, but when they don't give you a choice, and they see that, when you see the destruction that they make, sometimes you must kill them, no matter what. Sometimes there are those that truly can't be forgiven, and there's those that can be forgiven. It's only if they're willing to do it. This creature right here was just ready to kill anything, regardless of whether he was killed or not. This is when issei understood that, and that's why he's the kind of person who he is. That's why he killed those two people. Even though the original Daredevil wouldn't do it, issei is not original. Now, he goes toe-to-toe with a couple of demons. Sometimes they're the ones that can fly, but he gets Baylor View probably after talking with Gasper. And he's been in the ORC, but he sensed that there's someone there, but they're usually someone hidden away. And when he found out who it was Gasper, and Gasper got so scared that he basically stopped Issei in time, but Issei somehow broke it, and somewhat it just turned his freaking, well, sacred gear on, and yeah, he gets bail review. Now, Gasper is asking him, how did he do that? How did he break through his bail review? And this is when Issei explains to him that he was told that he had bail review as well. And these two were basically, you know, he was surprised. This is when he didn't use the clock, he didn't use his time thing. But the moment his eyes opened for a millisecond, he saw something he never thought he would have seen. And that was the color red. The color that he had on his eyes. That was what he saw. And, well, Issei is back to just saw that, and he cries and hugs Gasper. Gasper, not knowing what he did, what she did, because like I said before, it's a chick. Like I said before, like what happened, he cries, and this is when Gasper says, why is he crying? And this is when he tells him that there's a reason why I have what I have on. Or at least the reason why I have a mask on my face is the fact that I am blind. Gasper is shocked on how this person here knew where Gasper was at, and right now she's being told that he's blind, which actually frightens her. But she asks more questions about how is he blind and he's able to see, or at least being able to, like see, know where she was at. Issei says that he has a special gift after an accident that he was in, which gave him the ability to see, or at least see what other people can't see. He has the ability to see outlines of people. Not only that, he also has the ability to hear. He has the ability to hear at very good distances, like a couple of miles away. Not only that, he has the ability to smell. Like, he has strong senses. Even his touch is like, what's the word? It's very strong. So, when they talk, Issei explains a lot about what had happened to him. And he tells Gasper to keep this a secret. Gasper says okay. But the next 2 weeks, Issei and Gasper talk a lot. And they are actually really good friends. Now, when the whole thing actually starts, he actually meets Asya, and he takes her to, the church. And this is when one of them sees that this girl brought Issei, and they're like, oh, what do we have here? And Asya explains that this man is blind, and she wishes to heal him. Issei didn't understand what she meant, but paid no mind to it. As soon as he sensed this guy's heartbeat, and he notices that the guy whose name is Siegfried, he found out that Siegfried was lying to him, and he was like, oh, welcome, I'm so glad you've come, and hopefully God was with you, blah, blah, blah. And Issei knew right away that he was like, I'm gonna go now, hopefully we will meet one day again. So, yeah, Issei meets Asya, and when the thing happens, which will be explained in a couple of more minutes, yeah, she's saved. So, I'll tell you how. He uses bail review now, but he still doesn't stop. He stops time a couple of times, but he doesn't know how to use it to its full extent yet. Yeah, since he just started using it like 2 weeks ago, so he doesn't get the grasp, but he does use the other two the other two abilities, which is being intangible for a couple of seconds, and also using these black using like this his mind to create like black objects and turn them into like physical things and basically make them indestructible, causing issei to fight with and create stuff such as a sword, sometimes a staff. He even uses spears and creates a wall around himself, giving himself a shield, somewhat making him really versatile with weaponry. And not only that, with defenses being really good, and you know, with his knowledge and you know, his pinpoint accuracy, he is very dangerous. I mean, he uses the walking stick still, but when it comes to like fighting demons and stuff, he uses that to the extremes, causing people to nickname this person Daredevil, saying that it's a person that they don't know, just using rope, using freaking 2 tonfas, and oh yeah, having freaking red like outfits. Now, issei says that he says that, you know, these people are good to him, and when he meets Asuya again, he actually hears Siegfried getting into an argument with them, and Monohamura and Matsuda are actually recruited afterwards, and they're both given 4 pawn pieces because they have a lot of potential. And these two are the ones that basically see and find out about Asuya, but they try to, you know, fight and help her. But because they're still devils, holy swords are still a problem for them. Sacred gear isn't like that useful if they can't actually turn into their element. So yeah. But who does come in there is freaking Daredevil, as we all probably expected. He just swings himself inside the window, breaking it, looking at Siegfried, turning his freaking you know, using his hand for a second, and causing time to stop momentarily. Issei grabbing like what's called basically using his ability to make to create a weapon out of his create an object out of his hand, uses a freaking club and just slams it to his freaking chest, causing him to not actually feel anything yet. But this is when he lets go of his time powers, causing Siegfried to basically cry out in pain, saying what happened. Issei using it again. This time he creates two black tonfas and just hitting him all over his body, from his back to his stomach to his shin, even in his crotch, causing him to hit him so many times in so many places that Siegfried basically, after time stopped, he was just crying a lot because he got hit in so many different places, and he also, well, got hit in the junk, and some of his bones are broken. This is when they look at Issei, and all they see is Daredevil's, you know, they just see Daredevil's attire, and he says, "Are you okay, Asuya?" Yeah, sorry about that. He sees Daredevil's attire, and everybody, well, besides Siegfried, since he's like shocked and he's saying, "Who the hell is he?" Issei looks at him and says, "I'm the one that will cause you pain. You freaking disgust me. How dare you use her? How dare you almost kill these two? They're children." and you also killed you killed about 2 people in this room. This is what they're saying, 2 people, and he said that there was a little girl in the under the bed, but he already knew about it. This is when they actually look under the bed. They tried slouching even more, and they just see a little girl in tears. Well, technically, who was once in tears, but instead of crying regular tears, crying out in blood. These 2 are upset and angry at the fact that they weren't here sooner. Otherwise, they could have probably stepped in. This is when Issei just runs out and says, "We will meet again soon." And to Asya, "I hope you have a safe time. And if you want, I will rescue you too." Starts running away. And after that, he resumes life, in school. Now, after that, he does come and fight one of the freaking Stray Devils, which was there before. If you guys saw the anime, you know what I would be you would know what I'm talking about. Issei does fight against this one girl that can turn her nipples into freaking laser beams attached to her tits. And Issei fights with her, and this is when the Grimmery household has pretty much all their peerage members there. It's even Gasper, and they see that this one person right here is fighting them, and somewhat just beating them. This is when Ria says, "I demand, who are you?" And Issei says, "Not now." And Issei is still fighting them. This is when she says Akino, and with the help of Akino, basically, that creature gets electrocuted to death. And this is when Ria says, "I asked you a question. Who are you?" And Issei says, "You do not need to know that. Now, I'm already done with what I have. I was already almost done beating her. I bid you farewell." And this is when Gasper would have said something, but he did remember, she did remember what Issei told her, never to tell anybody about his secret, or never tell them anything about him. They've never met before. And Gasper has this little secret because, she will know that Issei will come back and talk to her. And since, she's developed a crush for him, of course she will do whatever Issei asks. This is when she says, "You do not, I'm the one who, watches over Kuo. This is my territory." And Issei says, "Just because you have powers doesn't mean this is your land. This belongs to the people. Now the people run this land. You do not control everything, which means that this isn't yours. Now I must go. I will bid you all farewell. Until we meet again soon." This is when Ria says, "I will not let you turn your back on me." And this is when Issei actually has a little device, and he freaking throws it towards them. And it's basically made out of holy lights, causing them to actually be stunned a bit and cause them to be really weak. This is when Ria says, how did he do that? This is when, Kiva says that this was laced with holy weapon. This was a holy weapon. Or at least this is like a tactical weapon made from like some angel or something. Ria says that this guy is not to be trusted. And this is when Akino says that this guy is known as Daredevil. He is someone that protects the people. This is when Ria says, "I don't know about that. I don't like what he did. But he did, fight that one creature, so I guess we're not going to be so mad at him. But that doesn't mean I'll trust him." This is when that whole scene ends, and we get to the whole Asuya thing. Now, Asuya actually meets up with, Issei. Issei, meets her, or yeah, he meets Asuya, and they have fun together. They eat, they play games, but since, Issei doesn't know how all the games work, he just only does the ones he can do, such as throwing the ball into the hole, or, throwing the ball into a lane. He knows how to do simple stuff, but he can't basically play God of War or some kind of video game. Now, we get to basically when Yuna tries to get Asuya, Issei says, "I'm not going to let you do that." Picks her up, bridal style, and just runs away at top speeds, causing Rainier to be just shocked for a second, saying, "That was a blind person. How does he know where he's going?" And Issei's running fast. I'm talking about like 18 miles an hour, which Rainier could do, but since she's startled a bit, Issei got an advantage and starts running as fast as he can, telling her that he knows how to, win. And this is when he uses his freaking Baylor view, and while running away, basically uses this a couple of times, getting him to get a further distance away from her. And once they're done, Issei gets tired out a bit, but this is when he gets attacked by the angel, and he gets stabbed in the stomach. Now, once he takes it off, Asuya heals her, and Issei says, "I'm glad that you're on my side, and not only that, I will protect you with my life, even if I have to die." Asuya, hearing this, like in canon, will go with Rainier after Rainier catches, after Rainier says what she's going to do if she wants this kid to be alive. Issei looks at her as he's in shock of what, Asuya is doing and going with Rainier. Asuya says that, "You have a good life. Don't worry about me. I'm glad that I got to meet an actual friend," causing Issei to get upset. He was about to stop time, but they are already gone. The only place that he knows that Asuya was at before was at the church. This is when he gets suited up and gets ready for combat, gets ready for all the action. And this is when he tells Monohama and Matsuda that there's people with black wings there's people over there that were somewhat called fallen angels, making a joke out of it at first, trying to make them, knowing that they're kind of laughing, but he can tell that they're actually serious, and tells them just to get away from there. It's not a big deal. That they'll probably check this out. Since Issei cannot see, they'll make sure. They just told him to make sure to get away from there. And this is when Issei says, "Okay." Now, the whole thing after that, Issei gets suited up, and when night comes, Issei goes there, runs, and this is when Issei finds out that there's somebody out there, and he senses them, and he basically dodges their attacks. Now, while that's happening, Monohama and Matsuda are, breaking in there, promoting, and not only that, the queen, basically the queen, they basically see Kiba and Konako right there. They go downstairs as usual. Freed not Siegfried, but Freed Salesman, whatever. That's the person who basically fights against, Kiba and all that. Yeah, he needs to be healed a lot more because of what happened. And while they do that, after all that good stuff happens, sorry for that. Issei has to fight these three fallen, and Rainer's not there, so he has to go over there, but they're stopping him, so he has to dodge all of them, stop time, and he tries to chuck it at them, but because he's still weakened, he really can't hit too many people. This is when Rias and Akino step in and says that we're going to go help you, and Issei says that since you guys are here, you guys could stall for time. I gotta go to the church and help them out. This is when they say help who out, and he says the rest of them that you sent over there. Oh yeah, since Gasper's here, she's going to be with Konako and Kiva as well. So while being over there, Konako and Kiva and the rest are downstairs. They see what happened, and Issei keeps running, but he knows that something terrible just happened. And when he's there, he notices that Rainier is speaking and saying that it's a good thing that she died. Her sacrifice was needed in order for her to get what she wanted. Issei runs and hears this. This is when he uses his Baylor view and just starts. He runs towards her and is about to hit her, but she breaks out of it. Because remember, they can have that, but she's a bit strong. She's more stronger than Issei in terms of actual power. And she can also heal. So, give me a second here, people. Let me see that. Alright, so Issei goes and fights her, and this is when the rest are trying to fight the stray exorcist, and Issei and them take it into the they take it into the upstairs, and Issei and her are going toe to toe. Issei is catching up using his abilities, and Rainier is healing herself, which is causing Issei to get stressed out. And after a while, Issei almost started to win, but this is when she carries Issei, punches him, and starts dragging him upwards. Issei, not knowing what to do, is trying to use Time Stop, but it doesn't work. That's when he realizes that he can use his freaking, he can use his shift, his ability to change it to whatever he wants to get away. His, his dodge move, or not dodge move, but his tactical retreat doesn't work because he has to be on the ground, because he doesn't know how to use winged creatures. He only knows how to use land creatures. And if they fall, it's basically a bunch of Isseis falling down to the ground. So that's not going to really be a good idea. That's my prediction. I mean, they could technically die. I don't know how that whole thing works, but I guess I'll make it a thing. And Gasper has the ability to use a powerful version of that. So Issei's on the ground, and this is when Rainier says that he was a pitiful fool for believing that she can go toe-to-toe against him. Basically grabbing his face, and Issei spat on her face, but Rainier basically stabbed him, causing his stomach to be, causing Issei to spit out blood, because since he's on the ground, she just stabs him to put him in place. And Issei is coughing a lot of blood. This is when everybody, the rest see what happens. And once Rainier takes off the mask, they're in shock, because they see who it is, and it's Issei. Issei, looking at them, and realize that this is the blind kid. Issei, you know, his eyes are blind. Everybody knows that his eyes are basically a different shade, like it's dull, and it basically has no, it doesn't have the ability to see. But this is when Issei says, I'm sorry for you guys to know. Rainier looks at them and says, wait, so you do know each other? Well, I guess this explains the whole Daredevil part. But how do you know them? And Issei says that these are some of his school, some of these are his friends from school, and others that he knows from classes. This is when Rainier says, oh, look at this, a school reunion. But too bad that you're gonna see your friend die. This is when Motohamura Matsuda says, don't you dare, or we'll kill you. And this is when Rainier says, how are you going to do that? I can heal myself automatically. And this is when Issei says, are you sure about that? And Rainier says, what can you do so late in the game? And Issei just uses everything in his left hand and just summons a stick and just jabs it into her chest, causing her to basically get stabbed in the lung. But what Issei does next basically ends the whole battle, since he turns this thing into a literal morning star. And not just any other morning star. This is a dangerous one, because it's one that basically can actually just stab into you and cause it to be like a porcupine's, leaving puncture wounds everywhere. Yeah, this is a dangerous kind of morning star. I actually thought of this once. A morning star that doesn't have a ball on it, and it's just all stuck to the stuck to that stick, and whoever it hits, though the rest of the spikes that are within the skin, if it's pulled enough tight, if it has a good pull to it, and it's stuck to your skin, basically those needles are very dangerous. So that's what I think. And he does turn that into that. So basically he's getting stabbed in the heart, causing her to basically not being able to heal her wounds. First of all, she can't breathe properly because those things are still there. She can't actually beat her heart because it's punctured, and she can't actually take it out unless she actually, you know, just puts her hand in there. But she won't be able to do that in time, causing her to die and causing her to basically say, I really wish I could have just, you know, been your boyfriend. That way it would have been so easier to kill you. Issei says that it doesn't matter what you do. In the very end, I win. That's for killing Asya, causing them to both basically die. But this is when Rhea says that she knows this person, and she starts waking him up, and Issei is, you know, being dragged into the ORC, and that's where I'm gonna leave it off. So if you guys liked it, you know, just do what you gotta do. I forgot to say, like, comment, to subscribe to the channel here, people. I forgot to do that, so I guess this one is a freebie, and this is gonna be in the end. So this is, so part 3 is gonna come out hopefully tomorrow, and hopefully I can probably do another video about something. I'm thinking about doing a Deku What If, and this has something to do with Overwatch. So hopefully you like it. Now, this has been the Fallout What If here. Bye.